about how women of color maintain mental health through finding peace, life choices, and of course, self-love. I am your host, Renee Winters. Well, welcome everyone to another wonderful podcast of Keeping Queens in Balance. And today I have an amazing guest with me, Miss Daphne Fuller. So thank you so much for being here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Renee.
Yes. So let me, share a little bit about you with my followers. Amazing resume. I'm so excited. Miss Daphne Fuller is a licensed clinical mental health counselor of 11 years, a certified yoga instructor, Reiki and sound practitioner, a speaker, a consultant, author, and Brene Brown Daring Way facilitator. She's been featured in Psychotherapy Networker, the Fayetteville Observer, and on Shondaland, and spoke this year on Psychotherapy Network's panel Mental Health in the Black Community with Taraji P. Henson, Duran Young, and Resmaa Menakem, and other leaders in the field of mental health. Daphne is the owner of Therapeutic Solutions and Wellness PC, a mental health and wellness business in downtown Fayetteville, North Carolina. She is also the founder of Black Minds in Meditation, a global platform that focuses on the healing and transformation of Black women, spirit, mind, and body, in strengthening the family unit. She consults with practitioners on how to integrate wellness practices in their businesses and has an ebook entitled Embracing You, Sacred Self-Love and Compassion Guide, and is also an author in Black Therapist Rock Anthology. Oh my God, so many girls! So excited for you to be here. Oh my goodness. So it has been a long journey, Ms. Fuller, to get here, and I'm so happy that you are here with me to share your journey and to be a part of my journey.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Anything you would like to share with my followers? Anything that I didn't mention? Any blessing come your way that you just want to put out there into the universe? Just anything you want to share that I missed in my bio of you.
Sure. And not necessarily that you even missed it, but that I didn't share it. So
Yeah.
I'm the mother of one son, Aston, who is 23 years old. He is in the Navy right now down in Florida. And I miss him so much and love him dearly.
Yes.
I am the daughter of Betty. I am the daughter of Ernest, who is my biological father, and Jesse, who raised me as his daughter and who is my stepfather, who I love dearly. Sister of Derek and Jesse, and I'm just grateful to be here.
Oh, without a doubt, and we are grateful to have you as well. So I found you, because I was thinking about, meditation and other ways that as Black women, we could balance ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you really stood out to me as being such an amazing practitioner here. So my question to you is, what brought you to meditation? What brought you to that field, to know that this was something that you wanted to learn more about and share with others?
Okay. So very great question. The thing that brought me to this place was becoming a mental health therapist. So as you mentioned, I've been a mental health therapist for over 11 years. And one of the things that I've noticed as I've done this work is we can talk about our problems, but talking doesn't always help. Sometimes it's the silence that we need.
Right.
We can become erratic with our energy. That anxiety begins to rush, and sometimes we feel like we need an answer now. Oftentimes the answer is there. It's just giving ourselves an opportunity to sit quietly. And even if it's not sitting, people think meditation is one thing, and we'll get into that later, I'm sure.
Yes.
But there's so many ways that you can hear and receive the answers that you need. So long story short, that's how I got into meditation, was because I realized my folks needed more than just us sitting there talking about it.
Yes. Oh, without a doubt. You know what? I think that, what you said, and of course, we're going to deal with that a little bit more too, in terms of the silence, in terms of that quiet, and the talking really kind of mutes all of that. We don't hear that voice, that clarity that can come with the meditation. you
Yes.
know. So that's a beautiful thing that on your journey you found that. Um, is there anything else in terms of a tool? I know you share with, I shared in the bio that you're also a sound practitioner as well as a Reiki practitioner. Can you share a little bit about that and how you use those tools to balance yourself and to balance other individuals?
Yes. So I'm also a yoga instructor in addition. The thing
Nice.
I do want to share about meditation and yoga, a lot of people separate it because meditation is a limb of yoga. It is a part of yoga, but
Yes.
meditation is yoga.
Oh,
Just as breathing is yoga. Just
yes.
a lot of people get I wouldn't say confused, but we see the physical practice. You know,
Right.
we see people in the poses and all this flexy bendy stuff, which is awesome, but it's not the only part of yoga.
Yes. Yes.
That was one thing I wanted to share. In terms of, yeah, so sound, oh my God, have you had a sound bath before?
I haven't had one, but I've seen one and I so want to be a part of it.
When I tell you it's magical, I got into Reiki and sound baths after becoming a yoga practitioner. I began to learn more about energy. I began to learn that, again, we don't have to talk about things, but there's been things already created for us to incorporate into our lives.
Yes.
When I really realized sound worked, was I had a panic attack myself. I
Mhm.
experienced or found out about a very traumatic event that happened
Mhm.
in the lives of myself and my family. And I was having the most horrible panic attack ever. I can remember I was in Steinmart with my mom. She
Right.
had no clue what was going on. And my chest was just so tight. And I felt like I was going to pass out. And
Right.
if you've ever had a panic attack, you know, you, you don't want anybody to know, but you feel like you are going nuts on
You're
the
gonna lose it.
inside.
Right.
That if you don't get a handle on it, that everybody else is going to know. So we left. My chest is still hurting really bad. I came home. I practiced yoga. So the asana piece, the poses, I
Mhm.
practiced the breathing. I tried to sit in meditation and my mind was just running and it wouldn't stop. I got my essential oils and I used those. That
Right.
didn't work. And I took out my singing bowl. And as soon as I
Oh,
began to play that singing bowl, because
yes.
it is energy,
Yes.
it's like it absorbed
Oh,
everything,
oh
and
my God.
immediately my chest began to open and
Oh,
relax.
oh, that's amazing. That's so beautiful. That
Mhm,
is so beautiful. And I have heard, I saw one of your posts where you actually sat in the yard and you were using,
mhm,
yes, right?
yes.
Oh, beautiful. And you know what? And I know that I definitely want to put myself into that environment because I can't imagine what that would do for me.
It is magical. I have people come to me that have pain issues or have issues with insomnia where they can't sleep,
Right.
or again, people that have anxiety. And when I play the bowl, for most people it soothes them. I have
Right.
people that have insomnia that I call or check on the next day, and they're like, "Girl, overslept. I overslept for work. I was late for work." I'm like, "Yes, you know." Or they'll be
That's
lying on
amazing.
the table, and they're like, "Oh
Right.
my God, I just had a pain here, and it went away."
Right.
At the same time, I like to share with practitioners that these mindfulness practices are not for everyone starting out.
Mm.
Because if you have a nervous system that is not used to being calm,
Mm.
that's always, I won't say always, but for some time has been on edge and you're
Right.
nervous, to
Right.
take someone from being extremely nervous to being really calm can freak them out. So
Wow.
we
Yeah.
really have to be careful with that.
Yeah, can you talk more about that? Because one of the things I was going to ask you too is, what advice would you give to other Black women who are looking to, balance themselves? And they hear you talking about sound therapy, they hear you talking about the Reiki, or meditation. What's some advice? I mean, I haven't heard that before in terms of, if their body isn't ready for it. So can you share a little bit more about that? That's amazing. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah, so that's part of like the trauma informed mindfulness piece.
Mm-hmm.
When we're constantly in a fight or flight stage because of different traumas that we've experienced or different anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
if you notice, there are a lot of people that can't slow down. They always have to be going somewhere, always have to be doing something. I was guilty of it myself. the nervous system finds itself in a fight, flight, or freeze response.
Yes.
So we're always kind of clenched and tense.
Right.
So I've gotten used to operating this way, right?
Right.
So if
Right.
I've gotten used to operating this way, and now you're telling me to relax my shoulders, you're telling me to pretty much lower my defenses.
Right.
These
Right.
are the things
Right.
that have protected me for so long, or that I feel have protected me.
Right.
And now you're telling me I don't need these. Well, I don't believe you, because I can't trust the world around me.
Wow. Wow.
So having, and just the experience in being able to work with clients, I've seen it time after time. I've had some clients, they're like, girl, ain't nobody doing no breathing with you today, or
Yeah.
girl, ain't nobody time for no sound bath. But
Right.
over time, after we challenge those thoughts, after we create a safe environment, after we assist them with being calm in their bodies and just being aware, just sitting here right now and noticing what's in front of you, noticing what's on the side of you, knowing how your seat feels and how your rear feels in your seat. That is mindfulness.
Yes. Yes.
That,
Yes.
in some ways, is meditation. So
Yes.
if we can take it slowly, it helps people feel more safe. And as far as the sound is concerned, that can be very triggering. However, one of the things that worked for me when I was first learning to meditate, because it was challenging sometimes to just sit there, was to create sound with my body, with my mouth. We are our own instruments.
Right.
So if we never have another singing bowl or tuning fork or drum again, we have our mouth.
Wow.
So just for example, and I'm going to share, I was so excited to share, learn something African-centered.
Yes.
So we typically use the Hindu terms of different mantras like Om,
right.
which is considered the sound of the universe.
Well,
The Bambara people in, I believe it's South Africa, hopefully I didn't misquote that, their belief is that the sound of the universe is Yo, Y-O.
Why?
So an example of creating sound with our body would be to take a full inhale, and on our exhale, chant the mantra, Yo. And continue it on, and then close the mouth to seal the sound, and you get the vibration yourself. That helps with your meditation, but it also helps to soothe your nervous system. So you're doing it for yourself,
right?
Versus somebody doing it for you.
I like that. I love that. I'm definitely going to try that later. I'm definitely going to try that later. Oh my goodness. Yes, without a doubt. So let me ask you this, in terms of the sound therapy. So for people that may think that, oh, she's just making any old sounds, is there a method to what you do? So when you get the bowl in front of you, is there a process that you go through in knowing the correct sounds that you want to put out there at that moment?
Yes. So sometimes I just freestyle.
Okay.
Sometimes I allow spirit to lead me and guide me based on the person that's sitting in front of me. Right. Other times I already know what we're going to be working on. So there's different bowls and different forks are tuned to different frequencies and different chakras. Right. So we may be working on the heart chakra. So then I'll use the heart chakra singing bowl and I will play that. Perhaps someone is working on self-esteem, which we would use the solar plexus, but then maybe they're also working on issues of trust and fear, not feeling safe. Then we would use the bowl that focuses on the root chakra.
Wow. Okay. No, that's great. That's great to know, because again, we're listening, this podcast is for women in general, Black women, but also giving them the tools to know what they're stepping into, and so I think that's great knowledge. Some of the stuff that I just love sharing with other people, so I love that. My other question, I guess, ties into something you said too before, in terms of the connection with meditation and yoga. A lot of times we do separate those things, but I know they are so interconnected. So if a person is just starting out and they're looking to balance themselves, should they start with the yoga, start with the meditation, or do both together? Or like, where would they find their balance between those two areas?
It truly depends on the person. Everybody's path is different. From the beginning, the asana, aka the poses,
Mm-hmm.
were created so that people could sit in meditation longer.
Wow. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
So
Okay.
you move the body, you work the body, you get the breath going because our brain is always going. They call it the monkey mind.
Right.
The
Yes.
asana, the poses help to calm the mind
Mm-hmm.
so that we can then sit longer.
Okay.
However, there's some people that aren't interested in the movement piece,
Mm-hmm.
but they may be interested in the meditative piece. So I would say to first begin practicing mindfulness. Just
Mm.
first practice being present.
Right.
Practice when you walk outside. What does the air feel like when it hits your face?
Mm.
What does are you walking on concrete or grass? What is that
Mm.
like? As
Right.
you're riding down the road, are you listening to the radio? Are you on the phone? Or are you being mindful and paying attention to all the things that are happening around you? If we
Right.
can begin to create a practice of mindfulness, then the meditation piece will come easier.
Right.
A lot of people don't enjoy the movement piece, the poses, because they've not learned to breathe.
No. Right. 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 You have to breathe into each of the positions. Right.
Yes. So
Yeah.
as the breathing, which is called pranayama, is a limb of yoga as well. So you have yoga here, and then
Right.
you have eight limbs, and
Mm-hmm.
the breathing is one part. The yoga, the movements is one part. So if you're just moving as we do in life,
Mm-hmm.
without like truthfully, intentionally using your breath, you're going to find that mind getting into the ego. Oh, I'm not doing this right. Oh, I
Yes.
don't
That's
like
right.
this. Oh, this
That's right.
hurts. But if you can really breathe in and out, you'll get an entirely different experience with
Right.
yoga. And yeah, you'll get an entirely different experience. You'll be able to just kind of ease in it, but it takes time.
It definitely takes time. Now, let me ask you this. One time, when I was practicing, I'm always trying to, learn more about yoga. I definitely do a lot of meditation in
Mhm.
my own practice and learn that, how much that benefits me. But with the yoga aspect, I know sometimes when I've done some yoga, I've went to some yoga dashana centers in my area, um, I started crying. Like,
Mm.
I started actually weeping. And I'm like, what is going on here? So what is that all about for my listeners? Like, what is it about when sometimes that yoga brings emotions to the surface? Like, what is that?
That is exactly why I incorporate it into my practice. That is
Yeah,
exactly why I say that we don't always have to talk through things.
right,
That could have been for you, that could have been a feeling of joy. I don't
right,
know. That could
right.
have been, or it could be trapped emotions.
Yes, yes. I was going through something like I was let go of from my job, and there was a whole bunch that I was dealing with, and I had the face on every day, working at my walking around. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? But
mhm.
inside, I know there was a lot of pain that I was managing. So I can only assume that like I was like, I'm crying. I was supposed to cry.
Yes, that is yoga. Yoga it relieves and removes trapped emotions.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness,
it
that
does.
is
And
beautiful.
when you're looking at, for example, trauma, a lot of times we hold trauma. We hold it in different parts of our bodies, but a lot of us hold it in our hips, and there's something called the psoas muscle.
Hmm.
You
Yes,
can activate that in a lot of different ways through your breath, through doing like different squats,
yes.
different postures,
Oh my God. Yeah,
and
that's
that
what it
will
was.
build it
It
up.
was a hip opening exercise. It was a hip.
That's exactly what it was. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. And that's the joy that I want other people to feel.
Hmm.
That's amazing. That's the stuff that allows us to balance ourselves,
To get free.
to get free. Yes. That's what they need to hear. That's what they need to know more about. And I love that. Oh my goodness. So, I look at you and I share these conversations with you as a Black woman, and you look so well put together and you're knowledgeable, and it's just an amazing time to share with you. But what I would love to know is, what challenges have you encountered
Mhm.
as a Black woman, you know um, What made you get to this point? What allowed you to grow to get to this point where you can sit back and share this knowledge with all of us?
Hmm. Wow, that's probably a long answer.
It's all right. We're here
And
to listen.
it's the reason why I started.
Yes.
The reason why I started this work. Okay, so I had my son when I was 20. I had my son when I was 20. I was in college,
Mm-hmm.
a full-time student. After having him, in order to get daycare and keep daycare, I had to not only work, but I not only had to continue going to school, but I also had to work. So I was working, I was volunteering, and I was going to school full time.
Right.
Well, being a 20-year-old with a young baby, being away from home, not having like any adults in my life there,
Right.
it was very challenging. I didn't know anything about postpartum depression at the time,
Oh,
but
right.
I found myself in a really dark place, a really sad place, really anxious and depressed. And
Right.
I would say that space for years before even realizing it. I was just on autopilot.
Right.
So from there, I graduated, I became a special education teacher. Then I became a school counselor. But the one thing I realized was that the assistance I wanted to offer people, I wasn't really able to offer it in the school system. And I was working with the children, and I felt that I needed to reach the adults in the lives of the children, because
Yes.
that's where it starts.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there I went to school to become a mental health therapist. And again, through it all, I dealt with my own uh, domestic violence. I was in really unhealthy relationships. My self-esteem was not the best. I was anxious. I was depressed. And I was looking for love, but the love that I was looking for was only the love that I could give to myself.
Oh, that's truth. Oh,
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
that's how I got into therapy. And then that's what led me to yoga.
Yes.
I went to a yoga class, and I did yoga way back in the day
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I loved the way they looked. They looked so calm and everything was so graceful. But when I tried it, it was like the most horrible thing ever. Because I didn't know how to breathe. I'm like, oh no.
Right.
I think it was like Bob Ross was the guy's name on
Right.
like
Right.
the Oxygen channel back in the day.
Right. Right.
So, but fast forward, when I went again this time and I learned to breathe, and that taught me that I had more control over my life than I knew. And it brought me so in touch with my body
Mhm.
that I'd run away from so long.
Right.
I was giving it to people,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't giving it to myself.
Oh, please. Right. That's
And
beautiful.
that and that is where it started, really.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been
Wow.
a lifelong journey.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, we are so happy that you have traveled that journey, and that you have learned those lessons, and
Yeah.
become the individual that you are sitting
Yes.
in front of me. That's such a blessing. Thank you. Um, and speaking of lessons, as you look back, what was one of the biggest lessons that you've learned in your journey so far? What is your biggest takeaway?
Hmm. What is my biggest takeaway? Hmm. That is a challenging one. That we're all connected. That
Mm, mm.
the Creator is within us. Our ancestors are always with us.
Yes, you gave me chills. Oof. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
I'm sure I know there's more, but just be patient with yourself. Offer yourself compassion. Be open and willing to sit with yourself naked. And when I
Mm,
say naked,
mm,
I don't necessarily mean without clothes. And if that's what it calls for, then yeah. But to sit with yourself, not run from yourself, be
mm.
open to acknowledging all of who you are and who you've been, knowing that you will be able to get through it,
Yes.
even if that means doing it with a professional, with someone that can help you. One of the more recently, the biggest lessons for me has been the acknowledgement of how much control I like to have over things. Because if I can have control over things, then people won't be able to see how weak I am. And weak isn't even the right word, but they won't be able to see the things that I don't want to be seen. The shame that I hold, the guilt that I hold, they won't be able to see that. But I had an opportunity to experience a plant medicine ceremony, which gave me no opportunity
to hide anything.
it felt like somebody put a plunger on top of my head and pulled it up, or my mouth, and everything just came out. Everything that I've been holding on to, all the guilt and the shame and sadness and sorrow, it just came out, and it felt like a bowel movement.
Wow.
And what the shaman told me was, and I was like, oh my God, I have to go to the restroom, but I really didn't. And they said that was that emotional baggage that was coming up.
Right. So what is that? You said a plant medicine ceremony. So what is that?
So it was 5-MeO, 5-MeO DMT. It's toad venom. It's a psychedelic.
Oh, yes. I've heard of that. Yes.
Psychedelic, and I tried it for the first time a while back, and it was an amazing experience. I had an opportunity to try it, but I also had an opportunity to sit with others who were able to work through and release some of the things that they've been holding on to as well. And during my experience, my grandmother came up. I've never met my maternal grandmother, but I do have a picture of her on my altar. And I've heard so many amazing things about her. But as I was going through what I was going through and having to release this need to control and to hide, all I saw, it appeared, was her picture. It was her on my ancestor altar there with me, telling me why I was doing the work that I was doing, and what the women in our family have gone through. It was an experience.
That sounds like it was. Oh my goodness, Daphne. Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds like an amazing experience. So that definitely will helped you in terms of your lessons that you learned.
Yes.
Kind of just right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's beautiful. You know,
the first person I told about this experience. I mean,
yes,
the public anyway.
Yes. Well, you have people here now.
Hey, y'all.
Wow. All right. So, you know, as we get older and we have this wisdom that we share, you know, I often think it's, my job to bestow a lot of this knowledge and this wisdom. And I start with my own daughter, to help her and prepare her, to step forward as a young Black woman. What is some of the advice that you would give to our young Black women that are coming up and managing the different, I guess, obstacles that we have to encounter now? What's some of the advice that you would share with them?
The first thing I would say is to learn to be still. A lot of times we already have the answers, and if we don't have the answers will be provided for us. And we just have to be obedient enough and create a safe enough container for ourselves, whether that be with a community, with a therapist, with a Reiki practitioner or energy practitioner, whatever that is, your church, whatever it is, to be able to be still. As they say, prayer is talking to God and meditation is the act of listening. So that's one thing. Intuition is, we all have it. We all want it. But a lot of us want to be so elevated and we want to be up here. And we lose that grounding piece. So again, being able to learn how to ground yourself first. If you can learn how to ground yourself and feel safe in that whole grounding experience, that root chakra, that deals with our family of origin, our tribe.
Yes.
So
Okay.
learn who you are. One of the things that I want to say is Dr. Wade Nobles.
Mm-hmm.
He's an African-centered psychologist. And one of the things he talks about is, in order for us to know who we are, we first have to know our culture. We have
Right.
to know where we come from to
Yes.
truly get it.
Right.
So
And
connect.
that's why it's kept from us. That's why it's kept from us.
Yes.
Educationally, it's not in those. They want to take it out of the textbooks. Not even there half the time. And the
Yeah.
stuff that's in there, they want to take out because they don't want us to gain that. You
And know
know,
who we are.
and
Yeah.
know who we are for sure.
That's been a very powerful part of my journey. So, and not being afraid of it. You know, if
Hmm.
you grew up Christian, Baptist, Methodist, Catholic, whatever those things are, you don't have to throw any of that stuff away. I believe that we're all trying to get to the same place. Whatever
Right.
that, even if we call it different, even if we
Right.
see it different,
Right.
ultimately we're all trying to get to the same place.
Right.
So don't get so caught up in this religion, this spiritual practice, as long as you're doing right by people. You know,
Right.
don't fear connecting with your people, those that have passed on, even if it's just learning their names, the
Oh,
benevolent ones. We want to make sure we're acknowledging the benevolent ones. At the
yeah.
same time, in order for us to, some things in our life continue coming up because they're generational. So
Hmm.
just as we do acknowledge and call upon the benevolent ones,
Hmm.
we also need to call upon the benevolent ones to assist us with breaking that generational stuff that we see in ourselves that continues
Yes.
growing up.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, for sure, sure. And I know that's a whole nother discussion in terms of that generational trauma that
Mhm.
flows, and that we have to be able to, to stop, in order to progress and be better, our better selves, for
Yes.
sure. Um, so if you could describe what meditation, if in one word, if you could describe what it does for you or what it means to you, what would be that one word? Oh, what it does for you. Like, you know what I'm saying, right? Like if you could put it
Clarity,
in one word. Yeah.
clarity, I would say.
Mm,
Mhm.
right,
Clarity.
right. Yes, yes. I definitely agree. And I've said this before that even keeping queens in balance
Yeah.
came out of a meditative process for me, because
Mhm.
I had said to myself, what else, what am I supposed to do now? Like, what's my next step in my journey? And I just meditated. I took my crystals, and I just meditated, and it was just like this. I came out and I was like, I supposed to start a podcast. I supposed to start a podcast. And I knew my name. I knew all of that. That just flowed so easily. And that's the blessing of this. Like, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's the
Yes.
beauty of this. That's the beauty of what's going on here. And that's why when you say clarity,
Mhm.
oh, it just resonates so deeply with me. It
And
resonates so deeply.
the next word would be God,
Yes.
creator, because that connection is what gives that answer,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Wow. You know, you asked me the question. I forgot what the question was, but I talked about getting still. You
Mhm,
got
yes.
still. It was
Yes.
because you were obedient and you were still
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
you received that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mm.
So true. So true. I'm a type A. I always go on too. And that the meditation allowed me to slow down,
Yeah.
allowed me to stop. Because I'm like, oh, my husband's like, there's something wrong with you. You don't stop. I'm like, okay. He used to say that back in the day. I'm like, yeah, you're right. There is something wrong. I need to stop. I need to slow down some. And meditation has done that for me. So that's what the beauty of all this is, that I want other people to understand that and to feel that. And I'm so happy that you're here to help share that, to share that knowledge and even break it down even more in ways that I can't. I can only speak from my experiential, experience, but you can bring the facts and the information and your own experience too. But that's what we're talking about here, helping our women to achieve this balance. So, once again, oh my goodness, I'm not even done with the interview yet, but this is just like, I'm loving it.
I did want to just share with people as we talk about meditation to know that you don't have to sit in meditation, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That will come. That will come. Again, start by just feeling the breeze. Start by walking outside in the bag. Start by looking at the trees.
Yes.
Start by when you're in the shower. You can do a
Mm.
shower meditation.
Yes.
You can as the water is coming on you, you can imagine all the unwanted thoughts, all the stressors just being washed away from your body and being washed down into the drain.
Oh,
And
right.
then that new water that comes, you can imagine that being clarity and love and joy
Yes.
and good health, good fortune, whatever that is. You can
Yes.
just start there.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. Yeah, because a lot of times people don't know where to start. So, giving them the tools and the ideas that it doesn't have to look like what we've seen it to look like.
Yes.
You know,
Make it your own.
make it your own. And
Mhm.
that's kind of the answer to what I was going to ask you. The next one is, where should they start? And I think that, you know, people that are stepping into this world, yes, make it your own.
Go
You know?
hiking. Go
Yes.
hiking. Walk through
Yes.
the woods. Get on the swing and just swing back and forth and notice what that feels like in your body. That I believe that life is a meditation.
Yeah.
It's all
Right.
about us giving ourselves permission to do it.
Yes. 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 So true. So true. So, how, with managing our world as Black women, and we take on so much, and we're learning now to manage those things, coming from a history of being matriarchal societies, just being so strong as women, as Black women, you know how can we continue to overcome our struggles, but in a balanced way? Like, how can we continue to step forward and meet what's ours, and be our very best, um, now, you know?
How can we?
Yeah.
For me, it goes back to being still. To
Yes.
being still, to sitting for a moment, pausing so that
Yeah.
we have so much knowledge and wisdom and magic.
We
It's
do.
not going anywhere. It's not going to run away.
Right.
So give yourself permission to sit for your grandma, sit for your great grandma, sit for those who did not have the opportunity to sit, rest for them.
Right.
Oftentimes it is in that rest that we get the best ideas, like you said,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then
Yes.
go out and do it. So that
Right.
for me, that's the biggest thing, because when we're able to sit, we're able to learn not only who we are, but what our ideas are and what we want versus what is our sisters. Because a lot of times, especially with social media, you can get caught up
Mm-hmm.
feeling like you need to do what everybody else is doing, or even getting confused about what it is that we're doing. But if
Right.
we can just sit long enough, the creator and the ancestors, they will not leave you or forsake you. They will guide
Mm.
you and keep you on the path that you are to go. So you
Yes.
never have to worry about it. Just get clear. And journaling.
Wow. Yes.
Write
Yes.
down this
Yes.
stuff. You will
Yeah.
need it later.
Yes.
Write it
Yes.
down. Or when you start to go off on this tangent and you start doing all this other stuff, go pick it back up where you said, I didn't even want to do that anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh my goodness. That's beautiful. That's so good. So much, so many nuggets of wisdom, and so many nuggets just for people to digest, to process, to sit in, you know. But as I close this up, one of my questions I always ask, and I could talk to you all, I could,
I'm like, there's so much I want to share, but we can always do it again.
listen, we gonna come back part 2.
Okay.
Miss Fuller, yes. As an amazing, beautiful queen, you have your crown there, and I know that you have been bestowed with some beautiful jewels.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share with me what jewels you currently have in your crown,
Mm-hmm.
and what jewels you would like to place in there in the years to come?
I would say now I have authenticity.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
Now I have self-compassion.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
now I have peace.
Oof.
Now,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I
And
love
one
it.
of the last ones I would say is connection to the creator. And
Mhm.
again, connection to the ancestors that for a while, I was always connected, but I never felt the connection in the way that I've begun to feel it once I started yoga. Once I started my
Yes.
yoga practice is when that connection became more clear for me.
Right, right. Oh my goodness. And in terms of future jewels, I'm sorry, did you mention that?
I
Something
did
that you would,
not. Future jewel.
anything that you would like to work on or think that you need to grow into, or do you have everything
Yeah,
you
no,
need right now?
no, I believe that I'm on a ever evolving journey. I'm
Yes,
always going to be learning something,
yes,
and
yes.
I'm grateful for that. I would say strengthening my intuition, strengthening knowing for certain. I would say certainty in what I'm doing,
Yes, yes.
and kindness.
Okay,
Kindness. I can always continue working on kindness. And I'm a Sagittarius, so
good.
that's an excuse. That's an excuse. Okay. But sometimes I can say things. I just kind of say things.
Right.
Yeah. So continuing to work on that and,
Okay.
and, and having balance with that. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, I will definitely take that. You sharing the jewels that you have with us has been a blessing not only for my listeners, but a blessing for me. I mean, I am just so moved and being with you, especially because I know you were one of the first people I reached out to. I was sitting in a car at an airport. I was sitting, waiting for my son to come out, and I texted you. I messaged you about my vision and where I wanted to go. So once again, thank you so much, Miss Daphne Fuller, for being a
Yeah.
part of this process. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm excited more than you can know, but I'm
Oh,
extremely excited and honored. So thank you.
thank you. Oh my goodness. All right. So that wraps it up for us here at Keeping Queens in Balance. Please listen up because Miss Fuller will be coming back with us at some point to share some more knowledge with you. Thank you. Again, have a wonderful day, everyone, and be well.
Peace.